Hey there everyone, and welcome back to yet another video. If you enjoyed today's video on gaming stocks, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. I post videos on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 2 PM EDT or 8 PM CEST, and I do put a lot of effort into these videos, especially the ones where I cover a whole industry, so any support is much appreciated. As always, you can drop me any questions in the comment section and timestamps will be in the video description. Let's get going. Hope you enjoy. Now, we all play video games from time to time, be it on our phones, gaming consoles, Switch or PC. And gaming has become a go-to pastime for hundreds of millions, and what was once a frowned upon hobby is now a given part of everyday life for most people. And this of course makes you think, there must be companies making billions and billions actually creating these games and raking in money on my Candy Crush gold bars. And you'd be right, and the money is actually ending up with a handful of big players, namely Activision Blizzard, Tencent, EA, Taketwo Interactive, Ubisoft, Microsoft, Nintendo, NetEase, CD Projekt Red and Sony. So those are the main ones. And here is an overview of the main titles published by each company. Now, as far as mobile games, there are a lot of players, but few public companies nowadays. But many of the big titles on this list also have a mobile versions, so the big players are making money from mobile as well. And here are the same companies in order of size by revenue alongside their market cap. Now, keep in mind here that Microsoft nor Sony are true gaming companies, since they make most of their money from other sources. And before I continue, I have to mention the fact that there are companies not included in this video that makes money from esports, app stores and gaming hardware and peripherals, but for this video I will focus on the gaming creators themselves. Now, alongside the continued strength in gaming, these companies' share prices have all outpaced the overall market, and the big four, so Activision, EA, Take-Two and Nintendo, has appreciated anywhere from 600 to 1,700%. However, it's been a bit of a bumpy ride in some of these names, and with the growth in gaming inevitably slowing down, it'll be interesting to see which of them can innovate and find new ways of increasing revenues. Now, although growth has tapered in the gaming market, it's still expected to grow at an annual rate of about 6.1% and reach 42 billion by 2023. So there's definitely money to be made for investors as well as the studios. With the shift from traditional single-player releases to free-to-play games and microtransactions, as well as the rise of streaming and esports, gaming is actually going to be a really exciting industry to follow in the coming years. Now, I'm personally invested in Activision Blizzard, so it goes without saying that this is the company I have the most faith in, but I'm very much so biased. The video game industry, however, is very volatile, and the popularity of games and genres shifts all the time. So what's hot this year might not be hot next year. And many of the best-selling games throughout history have been discontinued or knocked off the podium, so studios have to create new games or update their old ones constantly in order to keep up. And if we compare the top-selling games of 2010 and 2019, Call of Duty is the only title present on both lists, and the type of games is also drastically different. So I think this makes investing in gaming difficult but interesting. Should you invest in companies with the popular games right now or the most popular upcoming games? Now, I think you should start out by defining why you are bullish on gaming and what types of game you're bullish on. So Take-Two, for example, relies heavily on big releases like Red Dead Redemption, Borderlands, GTA and Civilization. Activision, on the other side, relies on ongoing titles with expansions and in-game stores like World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Hearthstone or Candy Crush. Nintendo and Sony mostly releases games popular with console gamers like Mario, God of War, or Uncharted, while Activision and Tencent focus on PC games like World of Warcraft, StarCraft, League of Legends, and Path of Exile. Now, it's usually a combination of both though, and big releases usually are followed by recurring updates and monetizations until the next big release. And this has become somewhat of a must, since gaming companies can't rely on big single-player hits like they used to back in the day, when games were few and far in between. Today there are thousands and thousands of games to choose from and too many platforms to count. So capturing and maintaining gamers' attention and money is becoming a field of study on its own. I think the companies that can create and support communities, esports events and continued updates for the will ultimately succeed and capture the coveted, streamers, esports personality and in-game revenue. With studios bombarding players with DLCs and microtransactions, it's no wonder that 11% of US gamers spends $250 or more on in-game purchases, according to Statista, and 15% of parents report that their children spend between $50 and $100 a month on mobile games. And overall, 87%, so pretty much all US gamers report spending money on in-game purchases and downloadable content. And I think this will only continue as the shift from AAA games over to free-to-play games continue. And I think this trend is crucial for investors to keep an eye on when picking which companies to bet on. Now, you can, of course, go with a video game and esports ETF, such as VanEck, Espo, or Global X's Hero, and get a piece of all the major players. But you also get companies like Nvidia, AMD, Nextcon, and NC Softs. And besides, I personally don't think this ETF does the space justice. I also happen to think that the quality of games and upcoming pipeline from certain companies are head and shoulders above the rest. So I'm not a big fan of ETF as a play on this sector. I'm invested in Activision Blizzard because of the games they make, not the industry they're in. Now, if you like hardcore games and the PC master race, I'd go with Activision Blizzard or Tencent. You simply can't beat Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Fortnite or League of Legends in terms of revenue or concurrent player bases. If you're excited for some big releases, you can go with Ubisoft, CD Projekt Red or Taketwo. I mean, sure, they've got many smaller titles, but makes a bulk of their money from big titles like Assassin's Creed, Cyberpunk or Red Dead Redemption. And a successful launch of an anticipated title can boost the stock 10 to 20% no problem in no time. The largest mobile players would probably be Activision Blizzard, who owns King, Zynga and NetEase pretty much. But I'm afraid most popular mobile games are developed by smaller studios not yet public. So this is what you've got to work with for now. Now, most of the studios will eventually create mobile versions of their games. And as time goes on, I think the divide between PC and consoles and mobile will shrink. And the popularity of games themselves will be the deciding factor, not which platforms they're on. Also, gaming in China and Southeast Asia is kind of its own category, but Asians nowadays play a lot of the same games as the rest of us. It used to be a somewhat closed-off market with the language barrier and internet regulations, but games like Fortnite, World of Warcraft and League of Legends are hugely popular over there. Now, NetEase, Sea and Tencent are the main players. NetEase, for example, releases Activision Blizzard games in Asia, and they develop games specifically for this market. But as access to Western games is opened up, I think investors are best served sticking to their favorite game studio instead of trying to single out Southeast Asia on its own. Now, as overall growth inevitably slows down, growth can be found through capturing market share from competitors or increasing monetization of players. Hence, I think investors should carefully weigh their options and pick stocks with care. Gaming is a tough and fast-moving market, so picking a constantly successful company will be tricky. As a gamer and investor myself, I lean toward those with currently popular titles, displaying stickiness and recurring revenues. And if they spur popularity among streamers or esports events, that's just a plus. I'm not comfortable betting on those relying heavily on big releases, as a potentially poor release can derail the stock price until the next major release hopefully goes well. So what should you do? Well, here are my 2 cents, okay? If you want to invest in a pure video game studio constantly make a popular game, I would rule out any of the diversified companies like Microsoft or Sony, although they also make money from Xbox and PlayStation. C Limited and NetEase are out because I don't live in Asia, so I don't really know much about the Asia-specific games. CD Projekt Red and Ubisoft relies too heavily on big releases, so they're also out. And this leaves us with Activision Blizzard, Take-Two, EA, Tencent, and Nintendo. And I think they all represent the industry quite well and always comes up with a few big games each year. Tencent is a big diversified holding company, but it still operates the world's most popular games. Nintendo has an unbeaten track record in the casual gaming sphere, and is also crushing it in the console game. Take-Two relies on big releases, but they have many titles to pick from, and they seem to nail almost every single addition to those titles. EA comes off as a bit of a hit and miss player, but they can also always fall back on their annual titles like FIFA, The Sims, Madden, or they can just release another Star Wars game. So I think all of these players are pretty good, but I would probably go with Tencent or Nintendo for those. Now, keeping my personal holding in mind, Activision Blizzard though has it all. They're big in esports, streaming, mobile, console, big releases, and recurring revenue. And I've been an investor since 2013, and Activision Blizzard was actually the first stock I bought, and I think I will likely stay invested as the company is seeing strength across titles like World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Candy Crush, and Hearthstone. And the company haven't released a brand new title for a while, but one is sure to come, and that's just going to be a cherry on top of their already strong lineup. So I think this is just the perfect gaming play. Which gaming companies are you invested in, or are you invested through an ETF? What do you think of this space? I'm sure I missed some smaller plays, so do let me know in the comment section. Give me topics for next video. I always need some more feedback. That's all I have for the gaming industry. Thanks for watching. Hope I'll see you in my next video. Take care.